Welcome to another episode of the program Issues of the Moment, broadcasting from Television Nigerian, live right here in Abuja, FCT, specifically Guzape Hills in Asokoro. My name is Nten Ekpa. Now, Issues of the Moment is a current affairs program where we bring you issues in our national life from any sector of our national life, as it were. Today we are going towards the education sector and we'll be talking about the FCT Secondary Education Board. What has that board been doing to ensure that education at the secondary level is in the right position to ensure that we have a very solid foundation for our young children? And now, to take me on the journey so far, I have Mrs. Nari Emeje. She's the Secretary and Acting Director of FCT Secondary Education Board. Welcome to the program, Madam.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the program today.
The pleasure is mine.
Thanks. Let's go straight to your core mandate. What is the FCT Secondary Education Board mandated to do, as it were?
Thank you very much. The mandate of the board, one of the mandates of the board is the management of public senior secondary schools. Because we are in charge of the senior secondary schools, there's another board that is taking care of the junior secondary schools. So we manage and maintain the senior secondary schools. And that's one of the core mandates of the board. And in managing the mandate of the board, we need to have teaching staff, we need to handle the promotions, we need to handle the recruitment, we need to handle the issue of training, we need to handle transfers and the deployment, we need to also handle the finance of the board. And so these are all put together the mandate of the board, with the main thing as the maintenance and management of public senior secondary school.
Yes.
So that's the core mandate of the board.
To what extent have you gone, how far have you gone in achieving this mandate?
Well, so far so good, I would say, because you know that the issue of education is enormous. Education is big, and there's a lot to be done in education. And we have, at our own end, been trying. We've been able to have 62 senior secondary schools on board as of today. Before now, we had 57, but between last year and now, we had 5 that were approved, making 62. What we are trying to do is to ensure that senior secondary school education is accessible to all the indigenes in FCT. And that is why you find out that every year we push for more establishment of schools. And so we do that, and the minister graciously approves establishment of senior secondary schools in the areas where they are not available. And you find out that in FCT as of today, because of the influx of people into the FCT, there is demand and high demand for public senior secondary schools, because some of the areas are already, overbloated. We have overbloated enrollment, so we need to establish more so that it will be able to accommodate the influx of people that are coming into Abuja. But so far, so good. We have these schools spread all over in all the 6 area councils. We have our schools spread all over. There is no there's actually no area council that does not have a senior secondary school. But the only thing we are pushing for now is expansion, because of the enrollment, which is already overbloated due to the influx of people into Abuja. So that is what we're pushing for now.
Absolutely. Let me just tie that to probably the challenges you have as a board.
Yeah.
So what are those peculiar challenges that have faced you as a board in executing your mandate?
Yeah. As I said earlier, the challenges are so enormous. Due to the influx of the people into FCT, we have so many people that want to come to our schools. Right now, it's like the crave is no longer for private schools. The crave is now for public schools. And so you find out that people are withdrawing their children from the private school to the public schools. And so we have a lot of people that want to come to our school. So the challenge we have right now is a challenge of expansion. We need to expand the existing facilities, and then we need to renovate. The facilities have already been overstretched. So overstretched because of, the enrollment, which is already so big and so large. And so the challenges we are facing, one of it is expansion. We need a lot of things like the classrooms. We need the hostels for the boarding schools. Everybody wants the child to be closer to where they are living. And so you find out that some of the places that are close to their parents is already overbloated. And we have some schools which is in the rural areas that have space, but we cannot send them there because the facilities that are needed to make life comfortable there may not be there. So that's what, so we have the challenge of expansion, renovation of our schools, supply of furniture, more furniture to be able to cater for the enrollment that we are receiving these days.
Yes, it sounds quite challenging, but how do you intend to address them? Do we have probably enough funding, enough allocation from the ministry as well to ensure that you meet this target and get these challenges addressed?
Well, we know that the issue of funding is not, is a Nigerian factor as of today, because it's not only with the Secondary Education Board. There is a lot of paucity of funds to do this. As I earlier on said, that education is big. Education is big, and there are a lot of challenges in the education sector. And so you find out that it's the money that is coming from the government is not enough to cater for the challenges we have. And what we are doing at this end, as of today, we are trying with what the government is doing. The minister has actually done a lot for education in FCT, and is trying his best to ensure that we are able to get a good budget to be able to cater for this. He has graciously helped to give us a good budget that will be able to cater for some of these needs. But like I said, education is large, so it's not enough. And what we are doing at this end, we are trying to get across to some corporations and some companies and NGOs that will come in and then help in the development of some of our schools. It may interest you to know that last week we got a letter from Chevron, and they graciously wrote and said they wanted to donate a library as part of their corporate social responsibility. So they asked if we could give them a school and the land so they can build a hybrid library for us. And we have given them, so we're expecting that. So if we have this replicated in each of our schools, you discover that the issue of library will be settled. So these are the things that we are doing.
I was just checking your website, and you have a lot of partners. So like over 20, and I'm like, so if with all of these partners, both from government and the private sector and all of that, has the collaboration been such that they help you in achieving this mandate?
Yes, the collaboration has been good so far, and we have often told our partners our need, and then they'll be able to say, okay, this is what we can do. We have a lot of partners that have donated laptops, they've donated computers to our schools. Some of them have even gone and then they have been able to donate an ICT center, putting all the internet, the seats and everything. Like I talked about the library now, some have come in and they have donated these computers and systems. And we have most of our partners too that, take our children, for competitions that expose them, nationally and internationally. So we have some of these NGOs that come in and then they want our children to participate, debates, and at the end of the day, as our children win, they also donate certain things to the schools that is helping them. But then the main challenge, which is the issue of facilities, is also large. Facility is large. So we've not had big partners, so to say, that have come in to like donate a building and then the issue of expansion will be reduced. But then our partners are actually helping. When they come and then we give them our needs, they pick what they can do at a particular point in time. So we really we appreciate that.
Yeah, part of your mandate is the promotion of indigenous languages in school. Now, these days we see a situation where most parents, especially in urban centers like ours, they want to send their children to school in the best schools, sometimes out of Nigeria, and they appreciate the fact that they come out and speak some accents that are strange to us. They appreciate the English accent of the American, the British, and all of that. Is that still achievable vis-a-vis our native languages, where I'm not even sure that they still teach them in schools or stuff like that?
Yes, we have languages that we teach languages in schools, especially the 3 major languages in Nigeria. We teach these ones in our schools. We have Igbo, we have Hausa, we have Yoruba. These are the 3 major languages. So we have these teachers that teach this language to the children, and they're doing well. Some of the children, we also take French, which is almost like an internationally accepted language. We also bring in French as a language that we teach in our schools. But alongside with the 3 major languages of Nigeria, we teach these ones. And the issue of, children learning, we don't bring in their own mother tongue. We don't teach their own mother tongue in our schools, but we only restrict it to the 3 major languages in Nigeria.
Well, that's an advantage. That's an advantage to the students that come from those tribes, as it were.
Well, it is, but it's an advantage also for them that their languages were picked as one of the major languages in Nigeria.
Isn't that discriminatory in nature, as it were?
Well, I don't think so, but we grew up to see it, and we're just continuing it.
Yeah, some parents don't even teach their kids to speak the native language. What advantage would you say, as a mother, as an educationist, and someone is in the business of regulating education, what benefit do you think it is to our children, our family, our country, for them to learn this native language, languages that they have been encouraged to learn in school?
I think learning a native language, learning your mother tongue is the first thing, is the beginning, is the ultimate. And if by chance you go to these schools and you feel that you want to learn one of the native language that is not yours, I think it's an added advantage for you. It means that you understand your native language, and then you understand another indigenous language, from your country. But I think that parents should now make sure that they concentrate on teaching their mother tongue to the children at home. They should be able to, the children should be able to learn their mother tongue. Should be able to learn their mother tongue first, because when they go out there, some of our children go out there outside the country and they go there to study cultural diplomacy. So what is culture? Culture is indigenous, culture is native. And so if your child grows up not learning any native or indigenous language, you begin to wonder whether the child was actually born in Nigeria or the child is an English person. So I think that parents should be able to concentrate on, first and foremost, teaching their children their mother tongue from the house. And when they go to schools, they should be encouraged. They can pick any of the 3 languages and they learn. It's an added advantage, because when they go out there, they could use it timely, as a timely intervention for whatever.
Yeah, part of your operational mechanism is the fact that you post teachers to different schools, different environments, and all of that. But it's been reported that there are some sets of teachers who are not comfortable, accessing some parts of the FCT. And they tend to turn down such kind of postings. How do you handle that kind of situation?
Yes, that is
First of all, what's your opinion about, what's your impression of those kind of attitude by the teachers?
Well, as teachers, we are all civil servants. Teachers are civil servants, and we are guided by the public service rules and then extant rules and regulations. And this law says that nobody is to reject posting when you are posted. But when you come down to the nitty-gritties of this, you find out that some of these rural areas, to be fair, are not accessible. We have schools there, but they are very bad roads, they are not accessible, and it's beyond us. The government is supposed to at least maybe make the roads accessible, you understand, so that these teachers will go. But in those kind of rural schools, what is expected is that there should be staff quarters in the schools, so that when they are posted there, they will be able to get access to accommodation, which will ease some of their problems. At least you have accommodation, you can relocate, you can settle there in the village, and then be able to be effective in your teaching.
Because I was looking at the impact of education at that level, where some of these sometimes more qualified teachers refuse to access that kind of places.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on now. You have at least 62 schools to supervise in your jurisdiction. I'm imagining if you have the resources to cover all of those schools, especially like the last question you were answering about access to those kind of places that make some teachers to, run away from being posted to those areas.
Well, as you have said, it's really a huge and an enormous task. So you know that it's not just possible to have enough resources. I've already enumerated some of the challenges, meaning that we don't have what it takes to cater for all the 62 schools as at today. But then we have a lot. And for every school that we have on ground today, we have teachers, we have classrooms. At least the major things that are needed are there to ensure that teaching and then learning is taking place in the schools. And that's why we have said that we are calling on some corporate bodies, some partners that can come in and then assist with development of some of our facilities in our schools, so that we'll be able to. 62 schools is not small, and it's really large.
Yeah, because actually some of them have recruitment base of 700 and more and all of that.
And so, the government cannot do it alone. And so that's it, we depend so much on the government, alone, and that's why you find out that our the development of some of our schools and then provision of some of these facilities are slow, because government is tied to budget, it's tied to release of funds and so on. So, but we are maybe using this medium to appeal to some corporate bodies, and then maybe can be able to raise some partners that can come in and then help with facility development in our schools, which will aid learning and then teaching in our schools.
I'm placing that challenge vis-a-vis probably supervising the West African Examination Council or the National Examinations Council during the time they are taking its examinations. Do we supervise them properly to ensure that they adhere to, basic ground rules, acceptable standards of probably not malpractice and all of that, vis-a-vis the challenge of accessing these schools, all of them?
Yes, I think the WAEC and NAPO, they have their supervisors. During such examinations, they go to every nook and cranny to supervise. So they do the supervision in conjunction with our teachers in the schools. And so, in fact, sometimes they are the ones that invigilate WAEC, invigilate the exams. Our teachers just stand in as co-supervisors to help them. So I think they are on top of this game in the supervision of this examination, and we are at zero tolerance for malpractice in our schools. By the grace of God.
Yeah, talking about discipline now. When your generation went to secondary school, and of course, few of us not too distant past, we were disciplined, we were groomed, not just in the learning, but the character of the child. These days, it's reducing to a very large extent where some parents don't even allow you to say you're flogging the child, you're disciplining the child and all of that. And for people who are in the Christian faith, that they believe you're not sparing the rod to spoil the child. But these days, it's like a trouble. It's like quarrel. And people have attributed this to, the increase in societal ills, where you fail to discipline the child as he grows up or he grows up to become something difficult, something truant or thereabout. What's the place of the board in this kind of setting, probably corporal punishment as it were? What's your place, what's your position in that kind of stuff?
Yes, talking about discipline and punishment, these days, I think I want to say that the issue of that is we are in a generational change. It's a generational change because, like you rightly said, during our time, discipline of children was not just left to the family. It was a societal and a community thing.
Yeah.
It was a communal responsibility. But today, you find out that it has been compartmentalized, that every parent just wants to be the only person to talk to the child. Sometimes you talk to a child and the parent will come and say, how dare you talk to my child? So I think I see it as a generational change, and which has eaten deep into the fabric of our society and is affecting our children negatively. But at the Secondary Education Board, we have our baseline rules. Corporal punishment, today we know that it has already been eradicated for some time now. It's not allowed, and we don't allow that in our schools either. The reason being that there are other ways of trying to discipline a child and correcting him and then bringing him, to the right track. And that is why in our schools today we have guidance and counseling unit. And this guidance and counseling unit, pick such children and they counsel, so we use counseling more than using corporal punishment these days in our schools. We have the GNC, which is guidance and counseling. They call the child, they counsel them, they mentor them, and then they try to mobilize them to, make sure that they come out to be the best. And with the GNC unit in our schools, is helping a lot. We find out that some of our children are being mentored to become good leaders too.
Tie that discipline to the use of mobile phones these days by some senior secondary school students. Of them they are seen like big boys and big girls, and their parents give them phones for ease of communication and all of that. But it tends to be a distracting device in school. Do you subscribe to the fact that some people are advocating no use of mobile phones during school hours, as it were, by students or probably in the class?
In our schools, no use of mobile phones. So our students don't bring mobile phones to school and they don't use it. If it is found on you, it is seized and collected. So that one is a rule. It's a rule and a regulation that the parents are aware of. So if a parent decides to allow the child to come to school with a phone, a mobile phone, and it is seized and not given to the child any longer. So that one is clear in our schools.
Yeah, some people argue that, let me tell that to the next question. Some people argue that we're in the 21st century world, ICT is the order of the day, and the phone too is part of it. So what changes are you bringing in the board to ensure that, in the school system, to ensure that our kids are, trained in line with the ICT world that we are in today?
Yes, we have our ICT labs, and we have computers for the children to use. We are teaching them. Some of the lessons are also taking, they take them to the computer lab and then take them these lessons with the laptops and with the computers. So we are teaching them because we cannot run away from the century that we are in. So we also ensure that we take them along the line of international best practices so that they will not be relegated to a generation that they are not part of. So we have ICT labs in all our schools, and the students are free to go in there and make use of it if they want. And then some of their lessons are also taken in the lab. So we are teaching them ICT, and some of them have competed in ICT. They have gone for competitions in ICT, and they are taking first positions. So our compliance with ICT is good.
Right. What will be your message and advice to managers of your school in terms of principals, head teachers, and all of that to enable you to achieve your predetermined goals as a board?
Well, our school managers, who are the principals, we always have meetings with them, and then we keep embracing them, with the vision of the board. And the mission of the board the mandate of the board, so they cannot lose sight of what we are all doing, so that unitedly we are fighting for the same goal. And then we often tell them, always encourage and then let them know that commitment and dedication is needed and is necessary. And to a great extent, our school managers are doing well. And well, for kind of advice to our school managers, for all that they are doing, I know that it's a Herculean task to impact knowledge into the lives of these children. And I know that it's not easy, even as parents in the house, you know what it means to bring up a child. And so what I personally often tell them is that their labor shall not be in vain. Because sometimes this adage has been that teacher's reward is in heaven. But I tell them that it has long changed, that teacher's reward is no longer in heaven. It's right here on earth now. Because how is their reward on earth? When you impart knowledge, you mentor and then you bring up these children, put an impact and influence them correctly. Tomorrow they become something in life and they will never forget you. And when they come with their own reward for you as their teacher when they were in school, that is the reward that we're talking about. And so I tell them not to be discouraged. Their labor is not in vain and their reward is on earth and not in heaven any longer.
Absolutely. I was even tempted to say amen. I didn't include this question in the set of questions we discussed earlier on. Regarding the recent certificate saga of Mr. President, what do you think? What's your reaction to all of that? We know it's been put to paid. They've come to present the attestation and all, but a lot of Nigerians have kept talking. As someone in the education sector, what do you make of all of that controversy surrounding Mr. President's certificate?
I don't have any comments for that. Whatever has been said, but personally, no comments.
And that has been our show for today. We'd like to thank you for being with us from the beginning up until this time. Join us again same time next week for another episode of the program, Issues of the Moment. My name is Nten, and until then, do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.